Today we're looking into the insert into SQL command in MySQL using the MySQL/net connector from C#. And the basic format of insert into is insert into table name, then a parent and the first field name, a comma, the second field name, a comma, and so on till the last field name, and then the keyword values, and another parent, and the first value that goes into the first field name, the second value that goes into the second field name, etc. to the last value that goes into the last field name. But we're dealing with the table that we created in the last video, which just has two fields. It has a genre ID and then it has a name field. And the genre ID field is an auto increment. So if we just insert into the name field, the auto increment field will take care of itself. It'll assign a 1 to our first insert, assign a 2 to our second insert, and so on. Well, a program I wrote in order to do these inserts basically just has a text box, which is named txt genre, then an add button that's named btn add genre, and a list box that's named lbx save genres. So basically we type in a genre name in the text box, hit the add genre button, and all the genres we add show up in the list box. So, well, for one thing, we don't add the same genre twice because we've forgotten we did it. And if we look at the code behind this, at the top of the file we have our connection string, which has the server equals localhost, database equals test, UID equals Doug, and password equals, and then I have just X's for the password to keep it secret. And then we have a global connection object, MySQL connection, that's named con, and a global MySQL command object named CMD. And in the form load we have a try catch where we basically instantiate the MySQL connection based on the connection string up here, and then open the connection. And then within the genre button we have yet another try catch block that essentially gets the value from the genre text box, checks to make sure it's not empty. If it is empty, it just pops up a message box that says you have to type something in. And then it creates the SQL Server string, insert into genre, the table name, name, the field name, values, and then a parent. And because it's a string value, we need to delimit it with quotes, so we have a single quote within the string. And then we concatenate the name we got from the text box, and then have another single quote ending the delimiter and a parent. And then we do create a MySQL command object using this string and the connection we instantiated in the form load. And then we do command execute non-query, which we've looked at previously. And then once we've executed it, we actually want to find out what the number is we inserted that got auto incremented. We didn't insert it, but it created itself, so to speak. So we do a select last insert ID parent, which is what's known as an informational function in MySQL, and then from genre. So this will get the last insert ID that got created by the insert we just did. And then we instantiate the MySQL command again using this new SQL and the same connection. And this time do an execute scalar, since we're going to get one value back, which is the number that got last inserted. So that goes into an object variable called nLastID, and then we create a string called str list item, and it has the genre name we typed in plus a parent and then the string, the genre ID value that automatically got created. That's converted to string so we can put it in a string for display in the list box, and a closed paren. And then we add this display string to the list box. Then we clear the genre field and set the focus to the text field so that we're ready to type something in again. It's a user-friendly way of doing it, so the user doesn't have to go up and clear the field in order to retype something in. And basically, if anything within this try block doesn't work, we get a MySQL exception EX and show a message box that said it shouldn't be create table, it should be insert failed. And then we display the overly long exception that we get back from MySQL. Well, in order to determine if this is really working, we're going to go into the DOS box and go to a directory that I created called MySQL, and I have a navigation bat file that takes me there right away. And the only file we have there right now is a create table genre.sql, which is a bat file for on the level of SQL. And I'm going to highlight this by clicking and dragging with the left mouse button and then hitting enter to copy it into the clipboard. And then in order to go into MySQL, I'm going to type MySQL -u Doug, my user ID, -p, and then type in my password. And this takes us into the MySQL console. I scrolled it up so you won't see my password. I don't know why I'm so paranoid about that. And then the first thing we want to do here is do a use test to select the database, and then do a show tables to see what tables we have in it. And as you can see, we have the genre table we created last time. And what we want to do is get rid of that. So we do a drop table genre in order to start over fresh. And in order to create the table, we can run that MySQL bat file that we saw, that's the .sql file. So we can do a source command which says run a MySQL script, and then I'll just right click in order to put in the .mysql name. Right click on the mouse so that we don't have to type in that whole long name. And if I do that, it says OK. And now we can arrow up in order to look at old commands. And if we go back to the show tables command, we can see that the table's back. And if I do a describe, DESCR, little trouble typing today, we can see it's got the same fields we had previously. So I'll show you the .sql file in a second. But basically it allows us to do what the C program did last time. So if we compile and run our program and type in science fiction as our first genre type for movies and do an add, we see it shows up in the list box with the auto increment genre ID that got created for us, which is 1. And if we type in the next one and do add genre, we get a horror 2, and the next one, say comedy, we get a 3, and say the last one of horror. No, I already did horror. Good thing I had that list box. Say mystery. Now we have 4 genres saved in the table, or so the list box says. But if we want a command prompt and do a select asterisk from genre, which is a command we're going to be looking at in detail in the next video. And you see there's the 4 genres that we just created, and the genre IDs that automatically got created with the auto increment. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot. And I just remembered I said I was going to show you the batch file. Do I still have that in the clipboard? Oh, I do. So if we use the type command and put in a semicolon, it doesn't work because type isn't the right kind of command. It's not a command for MySQL. It's a command for the regular console. So if we do dir and do an N and right click, we see essentially the bat file, the .sql file, is a script that does exactly what the program did previously. It does create table genre, has the field names, and the primary key of genre ID, and so on. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a lot, and I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe.